Hi guys, how are you all doing? What we're going to do today, we're going to actually stuff these chili peppers. Now these chili peppers are not too hot, but we'll slit them open, take the seeds out, and we're going to stuff it with mince pork. Now you can stuff it with anything, chicken, pork, veg, whatever you like. Okay, a couple of simple ingredients. We're going to use soy sauce and oyster sauce. There's a little bit of pepper and sugar to marinate our pork. We're not going to make it too complicated. We're not going to chop up onions and carrots and things and put it in there. And then what we're going to do then, we're going to slit open the pepper and stuff the pepper with our mixture. Now, what we are going to do for the first job, we're going to take some glass noodles and we're going to soak these glass noodles. Whilst these glass noodles are soaking, we can prepare the rest of the ingredients. Now we're going to mix the pork with the glass noodles. So it just gives it a little bit of something in there. Okay, now this is a very, very simple dish, so easy to make. Okay, so let's crack on. First job, crack open the noodles. So we got a 40-gram packet of noodles. Okay, all we've got to do now is put our noodles in a bowl, give them a soaking, and then we'll cut them. So to a bowl, add some water. Now all we're going to do is soak these noodles for about 10 minutes, no more. So get them in there and then they'll start to go soft. So noodles in the water, put to one side. Okay, like I said guys, we're going to make a very, very, very simple marinade for our pork, okay? There's 300 grams of minced pork. And to that, we want to add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And then we want to add about 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. 1, 2. So that's 2 good tablespoons of oyster sauce. Now usually with Thai cooking, what we would do, we would add fish sauce to whatever, but we're not going to add any fish sauce to this at all. The soy sauce and the oyster sauce are already carrying enough salt. So we need to add a little bit of sweetness to this. Now we don't want to add too much because obviously the contents of our pork at the moment are not too salty. So if we add, say, half a tablespoon of sugar, that should be enough. And then we want to add a good shake of white pepper. So let's put that in there. That'll give it a nice little peppery taste. Now all we have to do now, guys, is mix it up. So just mix it up. Now you can wear gloves if you wish, but obviously I'm going to eat this, so it doesn't matter. Now, you're in complete control of your marinade. You know, you can add anything you want. You could add garlic to this, you could add green onions, carrot, anything you want. You know, you could put less soy sauce, use seasoning soy sauce. You could use Shoxing wine, Chinese wine. We got our pork mince and our marinade, and that must be the easiest marinade in the world. There's nothing in there apart from sugar, pepper, soy sauce and oyster sauce. Okay guys, what we need to do now then is prep these peppers. And what we're going to do with these peppers, we're going to leave the top on the stalk because that helps us dip it in and fry it. But what we're going to do, we're going to cut a slit round the top about 3/4 of the way and then slice down the middle of the pepper. That way we can open it a little bit, and if we take a teaspoon we can actually take out the seeds. We don't want all those seeds in there. If there's some seeds in, that's fine, but we don't need all the seeds. So take out the seeds Nice and easy. Nothing hard about this. Give it a little tap, 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 tap. So there's hardly any seeds left in there at all, but we don't want to split that open too far. Okay, so we need to do that with all the peppers. Now guys, if you have a pepper and the end comes out, don't worry about it, you know, we can still stuff the pepper, close it over and still fry it. So don't worry if the end comes off the pepper, okay? So all we have to do now is drain these noodles. So we'll drain these noodles. We need to cut these noodles and add them to our pork mince. So if we just cut through those noodles, now it doesn't really matter how you cut through, as long as you cut through. So just cut through your noodles, nice and steady. So that's our noodles cut onto the top of our pork. Right, get rid of that. And then what we need to do, we need to mix these noodles and pork. So it's very easy, very straightforward. Mix that in, give it a good mixing so it's all incorporated and it's not like a bunch of noodles or a lump of pork. We want it mixed in there. So get it in, give it a good mixing. So that's it, look. All mixed through, noodles and pork. Like we said at the start of the video, this is a very, very simple, tasty snack. So that's our pork mince mixed up with our glass noodles. Right guys, here's a little secret tip which most people don't know about, okay? Now you take your pepper and you've got tempura flour, okay? What you want to do is put some tempura flour inside your pepper. Give it a little shake around and then tap, 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 take it out. So there's not much in there, okay? Now this is a real secret tip which most people don't tell you about, okay? Now what happens is that when you add your pork mince to this and you go to deep fry your peppers, obviously the peppers are full of water. So as it's deep frying with the mince, and it can happen anyway, you know, the mince can come out anyway, but normally what happens is if you haven't sort of treated the inside like this, the mince all spills out because of the water in the peppers. Now if you put flour in like this, tempura flour, it tends to stick, okay? And it will bind the pork into the pepper. Now obviously we don't want a lot of flour in here, so give it a tap tap so it comes out. But that's the way we're going to get our pork mince to stay inside our chilies when we deep fry. Okay, there we go. That's our peppers coated inside with flour. So all we have to do now, okay, so it's very simple. All we're going to do is take some of our pork filling and put it inside our pepper. As easy as that. Now you can add as much pork filling as you want, okay, but what I tend to do is try and get it to sort of the inside, I don't know the right word, inside diameter of the chili, where the chili inside was. So when you close it over, there's not too much pork protruding out of the chili. So it's about level really, okay? Now there's a chamber inside the chili obviously, which makes it a whole lot easier to do. So that's not a bad guess then for the chilies and the mince. That's taken all our mince. There we go. So that's our stuffed chilies waiting to be battered and fried. Right, okay guys, what we've got to do now, we've just got to mix up a little bit of batter. Now, we need to mix this quite thickly actually. So I'm not going to say how much tempura flour you want in there. We want a nice thick batter to go around the peppers. So get your flour in there, a little bit of water, and then we're going to stir it in until we get a really thick batter. So it's just by eyeball really. You just got to keep adding a little bit, stir it round until we get a nice thick batter. Right, there we are guys, we've got like a double cream consistency there. You know, that should stick to our chilies enough to actually fry. That should be okay. All we need to do now is get over the stove, put the oil on, dip our chilies in and fry them. Nothing could be any more easier than that really, could it? Okay, so let's get over to the stove and fry our chilies. Alright, let's get a flame on. Not too hot. And then what we need to do guys, we actually need to dip these chilies in there. So nice and steady. Let's get our chilies in our tempura batter. Right, we don't want this too hot, we need it hot, but just hot enough to actually seal up the peppers. So dip in, drain off, put in. Now what you gotta try and do guys, you've actually got to try and lay down the open end of the pepper so it seals in the oil, and just leave it, don't touch it, just leave it in there to sit there for it to seal. It's really very straightforward and easy actually. We're not doing anything, all we're doing is to put it in the pan. Just leave it in the pan, just let it sit there to form that seal round before we turn it. Now obviously don't have the oil too hot. We don't want to actually burn the outside and not cook the pork mixture and the chili on the inside, so nice and steady. Right guys, what we need to do now is have a quick look, see if it's sealed over okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, just turn them over, cook the other side. And if we fry this nice and gently, what we can do, we can keep turning it until we get a nice even crispiness on all sides, and the filling will not burst out. Just look at that. A monster chili, unbelievable. So what we'll do, we'll just drain on some kitchen towel, and then we'll cook the rest, and then we'll re-fry these to crisp them up even more. Absolutely superb. Right, they're done. All we need to do now, guys, is take them out, let them drain, and then we need to plate them up, and we can have a taste test. Now all we have to do is dip one of these bad boys in there and enjoy. Oh. Absolutely amazing. Oh. There is absolutely nothing overpowering about any of this. The pork has got a nice subtle marinade all the way through. The chili is nicely softly cooked and you have the batter around the outside. It is absolutely fantastic. Oh, that is real quality. Absolutely amazing. Oh. Now that's why you leave the stalks on. Perfect. Right guys, if you like what we're doing, don't forget, like and subscribe. Share with your friends, press the notification bell, all that stuff. Catch you next time.